Hello everyone, welcome to the 26th and potentially the final episode of the Chess This Week. Starting with the Pro Chess League once again, our team, MGD1, made it to the quarterfinals finally with a convincing 10-6 win against the Garden State Parsers. Now this was a total all-round team effort by MGD1 and it was in fact Deepyan Ghosh who top scored with 3 out of 4. The season's constants, Arjun Erigaisi and Harika, were MVPs of the team, especially Harika being one of the best women players in the league overall. This sets up some mouthwatering quarterfinal clashes which will take place from May 11 to 14, starting with the matchup against Indian Yogis versus Blitz, then the Chinese team, Shanghai Tigers against Norway Gnomes, and of course the third quarterfinals between MGD1 against the Russian team Levito Chess Wizards and the St. Louis Archbishops, the defending champions, against the all-powerful, the all-star Gotham Knights. Pro Chess League was not the only major online event in the past week, as the Chessable Masters plane also took place the previous Monday. Now, I myself had a pretty decent tournament until the first 6 rounds, but ended up losing the last 3. It was an incredibly strong event, and Magnus Carlsen, Fabiano Caruana, Hikaru Nakamura and Wesley So had qualified from the earlier Arthings Masters, being in the top 4, and they are joined by Artemiev, who takes on Magnus Carlsen in the quarterfinals of the Division 1 winners bracket, and Fabiano Caruana takes on Lee Kwang Liem, who won the Chessable Masters lane, the open 9-round event, which was won by Gukesh earlier in the Arthings Masters. And Hikaru Nakamura sets up an all Gotham Knights clash against Vladimir Fedosiev. And the final quarterfinals is between Levon Oronian against Wesley So. This completes the star-studded Division 1 ensemble, while Division 2 is almost no less. Now, the previous time this was won by Fabiano Caruana, and this also features some super strong matchups. The top one, Anish Giri against Norway Abdusaturo. The last time they played in a match like this was in the World Cup in 2021. When Nodebek was relatively lesser known and went on to defeat Anish. That was a shocking result at that time, but it will not be such a shocking result if it repeats. Anish and Nodebek also had a pretty thrilling rivalry in the earlier Tata Steel Masters, where Anish clinched it in the very last moment. So Nodebek will be looking to take his revenge on that. And we also have the super Indian clash between Arjun Erigaisi against Raunak Sadhwani. Prag takes on the online chess star Lei Tuan Min, who is probably also known as Wonderful Time on chess.com. Division 3 is not at all bad either. Gukesh features in this one, and he takes on David Anton Guerrero. A lot of strong players ended up not even making it to Division 3, but this also features some super strong players: Alexei Sarana, Samuel Sevian, and Shakhriyar Mamadero, and numerous strong players. So this is an exciting event, and this takes place from April 3 to April 7. And catching on a bit late, the Armageddon series, organized by Chess Arena in a very serious attempt to have chess broadcast on TV, took place for the American chess players a couple of weeks ago. Now, the American part of this tournament was won by Wesley So after he defeated Sam Shankland twice. And this also has several other events, including one for the Asia Oceania, which will feature our star Vidit Gujarati. And moving on to the over-the-board chess events, the St. Louis Super Swiss also took place, and this was won by the young Brandon Jacobson. This was filled with young top US chess stars at the top. Christopher Yu finished 2nd, Nicolas Theodorou finished 3rd, and our own Harshit Raja finished in the 4th place. That's not the only over-the-board event in the St. Louis Chess Club. The American Cup is also taking place. Now, this is a double elimination top event featuring some of the best US chess stars. This consists of 2 classical games, and if they are tied 1-1, then it goes to a rapid playoff, and if it is also tied, then it goes to a blitz playoff, a typical chess knockout event. And in the first round, the quarterfinals, Hikaru Nakamura was the only one to win his matchup in the classical portion, defeating Sam Sevian, who was probably already tired playing his Pro Chess League game against the MGD1 team. Hikaru coasted through with a win in the first game and a comfortable draw in the second game, whilst in the other matchups, Domingos prevailed against Aronian, Wesley So once again defeating Sam Shankland, and Fabiano Caruana defeating Ray Robson, all of them in the playoffs. And the American Cup is not just for the men/open section. There is also a women's event, and once again with a similar format, 8 of the top US chess players. And in the winners bracket, Tokarionova, Irina Krush, Nancy Peikadze, and the 13-year-old Alice Lee have advanced to the semi-finals of the winners bracket. Moving on from the over-the-board action in America to Europe, the European Individual Chess Championship was taking place in Serbia, and this was shared first by 3 players. Alexei Sarana, the first among equals in the tiebreak, and he not only won this incredibly strong championship but went on to play in the Chessable Masters plane on the very same evening. Kirill Shevchenko and Daniel Darda were the other 2 players who tied for the first place with 8.5 points. And it was not just for the open section, but the European Individual Women Chess Championship is also taking place right now in Montenegro. It's taking place after the open event so that women could take part in the open championship and now play in the women's event as well. So this is taking place in Montenegro right now. Pretty early days. It's just been 1 round, and the first round already saw a couple of surprises. The first 2 seeds, Bela Kutanashvili and Valentina Gunina, were held to a draw. The third seed, Gunay Mamadzada, is the person you see at the top there with 1 out of 1, but a lot of players leading with 1 out of 1 at the end of the first round, and it's still pretty early days. And moving right on from Montenegro to Slovenia, Leon Mendonca is leading in the HIT Open in Nova Gorica. It's just been 4 rounds, so 5 more rounds remain, but Leon is leading with 4 out of 4, and these are the events that has already taken place or is ongoing. But there's also an exciting event in the future, the Norway Chess, which is one of the strongest events, and this features amongst others the world's strongest chess player, Magnus Carlsen. A kind of a special thing considering that we don't see the world's strongest chess player even the world championship anymore. Magnus Carlsen leads this field, and Alireza Firouzja will be back to play some fashionable chess, and he's not the only top junior there. There's also Gukesh and Abdusatro, who have performed exceptionally well earlier this year. And it also features some of the old guard, starting with Anish Giri, one of the most faithful and loyal players to classical chess. There is Wesley So. Hikaru Nakamura makes another appearance in classical over the board, and there is Fabiano Caruana, Shakhriyar Mamadiyaro, and the Norway number 2 Aryan Tai. So this is going to be a super exciting event, and Norway chess is special in the sense that there will always be a result, because if the classical game ends in a draw, it is followed by an Armageddon. So it has a kind of unique format in the chess world. That's this episode of the Chess This Week, and I'm not entirely sure if we'll have one next week, but if you liked this episode, then do hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and see you all really soon.